Welcome back to the Pond Hockey Postgame Show. I'm Devin Caney. Time for our Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers. Guys, Jalen Hurts today had another MVP-type performance. He rushed for a franchise record 157 yards, also threw 2 touchdown completions. This guy is certainly making it interesting for us on the show today. The Diamond Debate is on the JAKIB Media Twitter page as well as the YouTube community page. And, of course, Jalen Hurts is talented and using his legs and his strengths to the best of his ability. But the question comes into play when you wonder if he's starting to put his body on the line too much, because Jalen Hurts is a big reason the Eagles are 10-1 right now and have the best record in the NFL. So that's what we mean by this question. Should he maybe reel the running back in moving forward, even though it does seem to be working for them?
It's hard for me to say curtail. He's such a dynamic part of what the Eagles do offensively that it's hard for me to say, yeah, he's running too much. I know that there's probably going to be one time that happens I'm going to say that he should not run as much because it costs the Eagles. But I can't get to that point where I say be safe. He's so great at it, and he's such a dynamic weapon doing it. I guess I'll have to take it if it comes.
There was a time in the game when he ran inside the 5-yard line and he was sandwiched between 3 Packer players and he got up slow, and you're wondering if he was hurt at that point. And then, as we've talked about earlier in the show, he took that hit in the fourth quarter where he sat down and the defender tackled him on the back and he bent him forward. And I'm thinking, okay, now you're talking about possible neck and rib injuries.
Right.
You know, he's such a strong, dynamic player. He can absorb a lot more blows than a lot of quarterbacks in today's game. But when you look at the recent history of a lot of quarterbacks who run a lot, you end up missing 4, 5, 6 games. Lamar Jackson missed how many games last year? The running aspect cost RG3 his career. We've seen Patrick Mahomes miss games. Josh Allen miss games because of things like that. It's a part of the Eagles' offensive plan based on down and distance. I get that. A lot of times he's running out of necessity because there's just nothing down the field. But when you look at 16 times, 17 times a game, eventually somewhere it's going to catch up to you. There's going to be a scenario where a blindside hit comes, a linebacker, a safety comes up and catches him in the solar plexus or something, and you're wondering how long he could possibly be out. You know, it's like Mike said, though. It's such a dynamic part of his game. Who are we to say when is enough? But when you watch what has happened to quarterbacks who use their legs a lot in this game, you know, when they go out,
there are certain plays where it kind of makes you
cringe. And there's a lot of times during the season, quarterbacks are out at the most inopportune time.
Right, and we don't want that to happen to Jalen Hurts, especially as we're getting deeper and deeper into this regular season.
See, I think he's a different animal. I think he's a different animal because, you know, he's trained himself for this. You know, you look at him; he's bigger in his upper body than he was last year.
Right.
His squat leg strength is legendary. I think for me, the biggest question is, you know, and it's a fine line, you know, can you be more careful about, you know, for lack of a better word, can you be more careful about, you know, your decision making when you're running the ball, Jalen, okay? But then again, you know, you saw him break out of the pocket tonight, and, you know, he gets on the edge of the defense in that first drive. And you're like, okay, he's got the first down. Get out of bounds or get down. And then he takes off for another 30 yards.
Right.
So there's always that fine line between, you know, you got what you could get down, and that fine line where it's like, oh, but there's more there.
I think his strength actually works against him because he has that mindset that he's so strong that he's not going to get hurt. And I think that somehow has influenced the coaches the same way because they run some of those carries between tackles when he carries the football. Those design runs are the ones that bother me. When he goes outside, you know, he's going to make a big play. There's nobody who can handle that. But he's running like a running back a lot of the times. And running backs don't last.
Well, listen, he's got that skill set to be able to do it. I don't know that, you know, you can say that running backs don't last. I think running backs don't last, the ones that don't take care of themselves. But you look at a guy like Nick Chubb. I mean, he's lasting. I mean,
there are very few running backs that aren't going to get worn down. So.
I understand that, okay? But a lot of it comes down to how you prepare your body and how you get yourself ready to play. We have devolved into a place with football where, less is more.
Listen, I get that, but like Derek Gunn was pointing out when we were watching the game. You're talking about the rib shot that he took on that play.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
and it was his neck kind of.
And that was another one. The neck shot. But the
there
rib
are
shot is
several different options that we're talking about in terms of plays.
Yes,
take shots in the ribs. When you run
but
tough, you're going to take shots in the
The
ribs.
rib shot he took, okay, he plays with rib gear on, okay?
Yes. A rib protector.
So he's going to be protected. Aaron Rodgers is in the position that he's in because guess what? He doesn't like the rib protectors, and he doesn't wear them. So now that's why, he got his ribs barbecued tonight. There's a big difference.
First of all, it was ribs, and then my NFL app said it was his oblique, and then I know his thumb. So he's got a lot of stuff going on. Aaron Rodgers does. His age is showing it.
And I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts, potentially couldn't get through this, and something could happen. But from my experience, he's doing the right thing by not focusing on it. Because the thing you think about is the thing you bring about, is the thing that happens, in your world, in your life. Football players in their right mind don't talk about injuries. Injuries just happen.
Right.
The ones who talk about it and the organizations and staffs that focus on protection are the ones that stay hurt all the damn time.
Well, but my question now is, because there's, of course, the design run plays for Jalen Hurts. But then there are the plays, like there was one in the fourth quarter where, Seth, I think you said while we were watching, he left the pocket too early. And we know it's Jalen Hurts almost running for his life. And I feel like that's been happening more often in the last, 2-3 games for the Eagles. So is that a concern where it's not really set up to protect him? He's more so just kind of putting the game on his back and just running for his life? And it usually works out for him, but
he's not going to sit in there if he feels pressure. And you got to realize that there's two different things that's at work here, okay? When he pre-snap reads and he knows that they're in man coverage, he knows that if he gets out of the pocket, he's going to get 15 to 20 yards before the defense can even react to him because everybody's got their back turned. The only person that can see him is the single high safety, and that guy's got to stay as deep as the deepest. So if there's a chance for him to get out, he's going to take off. Against zone, maybe not so fast. He realizes that, hey, I've got to sit in here and give my guys an opportunity to adjust to the holes in the zone for me to deliver the ball. So there's a couple of different things at work. But I watched him tonight, the particular play that you're talking about. If he was just stepped up in the pocket, he could have bought himself a little more time. But he felt the pressure coming from his left, from Jordan Mailata's side, and he decided to bail out of the pocket. There was quite a few where he bailed out right, and he couldn't get his shoulders squared up even if somebody was going to be open, so he wound up just throwing it away. Nothing wrong with that. You live to fight another day.
This is a debate that really doesn't have a correct answer.
No,
it really doesn't, because I'm looking at the statistics. I'm going, okay, he rushed 17 times for 157 yards. Like, I have a quarterback like that. It's such a weapon that nobody else has that I can't sit here and say he runs too much. It has no answer.
No. This is a topic that can be debated every week of the season, which probably will be. The bottom line is it's not going to change. They're not going to change the way they deploy him. Okay. There's nothing more demoralizing to a defense than to have a quarterback be the one as your leading rusher against you.
Right.
Now, you expect a running back, but when a quarterback does it, that's demoralizing in itself and takes a lot of wind out of a defense's sail. And you look at how many times he broke off against Green Bay tonight, and you look at the faces of some of the defensive players in the stand and go, what the heck else are we going to do against this dude?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you this, it also depends on the team that you're playing. You come in against a team that's ranked 25th in the NFL in rush defense and a team that's giving up 135 yards per game. You can look at that defense with all the players that they're missing and know that they don't have what it takes to really stop the run game, okay? Now, next up, Tennessee Titans. They play a much more physical style of football.
Bully ball.
Okay, so now your mindset has to be, as a coaching staff, in my opinion, hey, we're not trying to have Jalen Hurts run the ball 17 times. We want to be able to run the ball the way we need to run it and have our offense operate, efficiently with him from the pocket and him only running when he has to run, and understand that you get down, because that defense is one of the most physical and dominating style defenses that you'll see. And they're not going to be trying to just tackle Jalen. They're going to be trying to hurt Jalen.
Well,
so
right,
Jalen
and
better
then
be
that's
trying to.
another concern with him running the ball too much, because I mean, if they're not already, which I think they are, teams are going to start actively going after Jalen.
Absolutely, but then again, that goes back to my point. Okay, can you be a little more decisive about when you get down and when you try to get more? Okay, I mean, can you figure out how to do that? Because there's this fine line between, okay, I got the first down, I got 10 extra yards, let me slide and get down, we got the first down, let's line up again. And then all of a sudden you get out there and you're looking at these little bitty DBs in front of you, and you're like, they don't want to tackle these thunder thighs, so let me try to get to the end zone. And
Did you just say thunder thighs?
Yeah. And before
wait, so we had what did Collinsworth call it? The double cheek push, and
Yeah,
now
double
we've
cheek
got
push.
thunder
Hey,
thighs.
listen,
Jalen
man.
Hurts is
Listen,
really
when
getting
you-
some good names tonight.
when you're a quarterback and you squat 600 pounds, you get the nickname Thunder Thighs, okay? So anyway, he's looking at these little DBs like, I can run you over. You can't even hurt me. And before he knows it, he's got 2 DBs, 2 linebackers, and a safety just bearing down on him because he's trying to get some extra. He's got to determine that fine line between enough is enough and saying, okay, I'm going to get down. I got what I can get. Let's live to play offense another play and protect myself.
All right. Well, since the opening of this segment was a bit distracted, I guess I'll say, by some active members in the audience, this is the Diamond Debate presented by Mark's Jewelers, and I didn't have a chance to show off my diamonds, so I do have this beautiful necklace, as well as these hoop earrings and this bracelet that Seth Joyner once again had to help me put on. It's always an IQ test figuring that out. Again, no fault to Mark's Jewelers, all fault to me.
Did you just see what happened in the background there?
Did something else happen?
They escorted that gentleman out.
Oh, did they?
Yes, I don't know if people were watching.
That's amazing.
Security escorted that gentleman
Perfect
out.
timing.
It was perfect.
And that's how you do a show. That's showbiz, baby.
I started to excuse myself from the segment and escorted
I think it was when Seth Joyner turned when I was like, okay, there's no way that I'm going to be able to make it through this without
He
acknowledging.
didn't want any of that smoke
the
either,
guy.
that guy.
Yeah, no. All right, so stick around because the drive of the game is coming up next on the other side of this break.